Well, hi. I've been surfing the web a little bit, and I found that possibly in Automobilista we've got Imola, we've got Brands Hatch and Kyalami in versions, shapes, configurations that I think are identical to what they drove in the early 80s with these Group C cars. There's a website, I think it's worldsportscars.something. You can find the lap times and stuff, so I figured let's just have our one-day creation Porsche 956. Have a go at Imola, Brands Hatch and Kyalami, see how wrong I am, how bad I am, or how bad the car is, or how good the real drivers were at those tracks. Have no real idea if we'll be close or far, or what I will blame if it's not correct, but we'll have a look at some of those tracks. This is a good excuse to drive some of those old configurations. So, Brands Hatch first. 1:17, I believe the time was. It's pretty quick. I'm not entirely sure if Brands Hatch was identical to what we have in Automobilista, but that'll be one of my excuses if I'm too slow. Bum 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 racing. Yes. Just have a quick look at that website. Before he's not even driving. What? Races. Championships. Because I'm not sure that time 1:17 was actually a Porsche 956 or if it was something else. It's unlikely to be probably something else, because oh dear. Well, we'll see what happens anyway. Oh, I think I found it. By accident. Nope. Quite a nice cars site, racingsportscars.com. Results of all sorts of stuff. Page 4, let's see, this is more like it. We got Brands Hatch, 1984. We have pole position, yeah, Jonathan Palmer, 117.3. Now there is a video of that on YouTube, which I won't show because it's of those people who ban people. I'm not quite sure about the first couple of corners, but we'll see. 117 something to beat. If I do, I've got cookies. So that's my reward. And if we don't beat it, it could be for all sorts of reasons, not the least of which is my skill. And this is a one-day creation, so it's not like we did a lot of research. Oh, my HUD is gone again. Yeah. The list of uncertainties is huge. This corner, I'm not sure if this was a bit quicker back in the day. Not sure. Fourth gear. Third gear. Oh, bit of understeer. Steering loads up quite a lot there. Through the dipper. I think I'll leave it in third. Yeah. I did do a couple of laps just to see where I was at. But currently 121 isn't going to it's gonna make Jonathan Palmer laugh real hard. Oh no, running wide. Off the boost as well. Which is one of those things that you don't know how far did they turn up the boost in qualifying? Did they even do it? And layout differences. I'm just guessing downforce levels, I'm just guessing grip levels, so even if we do get the same-ish lap time, it might be through a combination of many incorrect numbers. So just that a lap time is reasonably accurate doesn't mean the physics are good or anything. It's just like a very rough first indication that you might not be terribly off. Oh, being terribly off. I knew that must have jinxed it. Again, it is fairly warm but not super hot, but it's raining again, so my door is closed and this is the sauna. Already starting to feel that again. Clothes have been through a washing cycle. Bit of understeer. So this car was made in one day, and all I did subjectively after driving it a couple of laps, change the tire grip a little bit, and then I did those laps in the stream a couple of days ago. That was it. So no real performance tuning. I didn't check on these tracks, which is typically something I'd like to do. How far off are we on a couple of tracks? Even though, like I just said, that doesn't necessarily mean a lot. You can be at the right lap time in many wrong ways. Turn in earlier. You do have to hold on this track. Nice that it still exists, Brands Hatch. One of those few remaining tracks with an old school feel. are getting close. Half a second to go. I will repeat this many times that the lap time doesn't mean the physics are realistic. I could be very optimistic with the power or downforce or grip. So I think it's within reach. Especially as the lines are still quite rusty. If I survive long enough. Your arms don't get a lot of rest. At this place. Oh, no, 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 no. F1 drove here as well, at the peak of the turbo age, 1985-6. His qualifying lap of Senna, 85 or 86, is a must-see. So apparently that first split I did was quite good. Oh, understeer. Once again, I think I may have gone into this a bit over-optimistic. We're not far off though, so I'll give it a couple more laps. No apex there. Or here. Here, rain lines for when it's dry. Oh, sun starting to shine. I don't like that. big opposite lock there. Not giving up on the lap because in general I'm not at the limit, so we might still eke out a bit of improvement. Not quite. No opposite lock, but a bit late on the throttle. Over the grass. Oh, I looked at the time, Okay, well, what is wisdom? This whole thing isn't, but I'm pretty close to the lap time, which I'll say again doesn't necessarily mean anything, other than just a little bit. Should I waste the little stamina that I have trying to beat it, or should we just move on to Imola or Kyalami? I think I'll be the wise man for a change and do that. Yeah. If anything, because it gives me a little bit of a break. Close enough. I wasn't planning on conceding to Jonathan Palmer, but I guess, you know, perhaps he's a tiny bit better than me. Just a little. Because obviously, near perfection right in front of you there. Let's just save this setup as a... I'm not sure if I changed anything, but... Test day, the next one is on the list. Imola 88, because I do think that's the same layout they used in early 80s. But we'll see. So that personal best that you see there, 136, was done with tweaks prior to those grip tweaks that I made. So it should be harder to do the 138 that this car did there. Branch load. Save. Yeah, it does. This is annoying. It saves it in the wrong folder, doesn't it? Anyway, what we need is a bit of a taller gearing. So we go to Imola Historic. Up the gear ratios a little bit. Why do you no catch up? Hello, dumbass. We'll see how that goes. Remove a little bit of wing. Perfect. Let's try that. Let's first see if jobby is working before continuing. We have people watching. Hi, people watching. So the guy who made this conversion for race department, he did send me a message. So I gave him some pointers and tips that are probably going to end up making the car worse than he's made it now. I don't know. So that's an answer to Sim Racing Tube. If there's anything good in my files, perhaps you'll see it in the official mod as well. It's a little bit of a... I can't do too much because we cannot support modding officially. Of course, there's lots of modding done, but we cannot officially support it as Reiza. So that's a bit of a corner I'm in. Humperdinck says Fangboner. Okay. If you ever thought of modeling an Edwardian era car, pre-World War I do like those like Auto Unions and Mercedes of the late 30s because they did 180 miles an hour with drum brakes and like people holding the steering wheel like a bit like that. Amazing. But so I quite like that, but they are very crude in the sense that they have certain suspension systems that might be tricky to replicate. We might not have that in a simulator. And in general, the things we put together in the sim is all like perfect, and we cannot make like friction dampers. I don't even know how they work. So it would be too good. It's very hard to make them era quality, I think. But yeah. So off to Imola. 1:38 to beat. Old as Imola. Need taller gears, that's for sure. There we finally are. Probably like that, I don't know. So I'm running 1.4 bar boost just to give this peasant a bit of a chance. They typically ran 1.2, but I don't know if they cranked it up just a little bit for qualifying. You do have to slow it down. Big ass 80s. Avoid the curbs. Tried braking where I would do in a Porsche, sorry, Boxer Cup. We're going a bit quicker. I don't like that the modern Imola, this is straight again, it's a bit boring. I do like these. Rubens Barrichello might disagree. These chicanes are quite technical. I like them there. Is the steering heavy at 180 something miles an hour? Yes. Oh no! Don't forget! Given how close I was to death there, I call that a success. Downhill. Well, I think 2 seconds is in there. Yeah. Ow. Oh, it is, if you just manage to slow it down. So we've already beat whoever set that lap time there, so I think I deserve a cookie. I really like the oversteer, how it develops in this car. Don't go super sideways. You see a lot of wheel movement, but the car isn't like super sideways. Sort of hanging on while the thing moves around a bit. A bit. So we're too quick here. It's quite a different track from Brands Hatch, of course. Much more of a high-speed power circuit. So perhaps at 1.4 bar I'm running is a bit optimistic. Oh, no apex. It's so lovely when you get the full throttle on the exit and the car assumes a sort of a small drift angle, but it's never sideways, like mega sideways or a big problem. Ow. I don't think you want to do that to the suspension of your 956. I'm gonna one hand literally dial it back a little bit. 1.2 bar. Not sure how much of a difference that's gonna make, but we'll see. You know, so many things you can read on the internet, but what did they run? What power did they have? What drag? What downforce? What tire grip? It's all... You have to derive that from a whole bunch of information. Actually, not even a lot of information, but whatever you find online, you have to balance it up against, okay, is this correct or not? Feels a little slower. But I also think I can make up the time difference by better driving, so we are probably still too quick. Imola is only ever driven once, I think, in the 956 for a WSC race. So you have only got one data point. Perhaps it was super hot, or the car was partly broken, or it ran perfectly, but lots of variables even in a lap time. So ideally you have multiple races where you can look at the lap times. We don't really have the luxury. And these are endurance races, so perhaps they said, well, in qualifying, don't go crazy, because it's a 1,000-kilometer race. See, don't go sideways in third gear, for example, would be a sensible thing for a team manager to ask of his drivers. Don't take the curb, for example, because that wrecks the suspension. So if you look at those things, lap time comparison is so like easy to overestimate. It's still done sometimes. Feels like, oh, I do the same lap times in the game as I do in real life, so it's a simulator. But like I said, you can arrive at the correct lap time in a whole bunch of incorrect ways. So let's try to do a clean lap with 1.2 bar of boost instead of 1.4. Cleanish. Half a second already. It's all flat out, of course, the first sector. I don't think I should lose quite as much in the later splits. So 138 with 1.2 bar of boost, but with quite a bit of time remaining. But it's interesting that the 0.2 bar of boost would do a lot more here, I think, than it would do at Brands Hatch. Because at Brands Hatch it's less of a power circuit. Not much left there. Slightly better lap. Still a little left on the table. Ah, that's the no steering corner exit. It's amazing. Followed by the handful of opposite lock. Born on wheels. So accepting of the power, just nice. That was a much better lap, which we're now going to watch, because I'm in need of a bit of something. Say what? There we go then. Oh yeah, what a beautiful shape. Yeah, the no steering corner exit there, that's nice. Oh, nice, 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 nice. In between the sweat there are some goosebumps. I know it's very narcissistic to watch your own work and enjoy it, but oh, I do it anyway. Not to be underestimated is the audio work that went on in Automobilista compared to R-Factor. The track reverb and filters and stuff like that makes the TV camera sound a lot nicer, a lot more real. Another one of those non-steering exits. Ah. Oop. Beat whoever did the 138 in real life, because this is perfect realism. I deserve a cookie. Before we go to Kyalami, let me read some comments if there are any. Please do bugger off, have your dinner. I know, it's more important than that. Cookie, what is this cookie? Coconut lemon cookies. Biscuit, noix de coco et citron. Merde. Organic, so all the sugar only kills you organically rather than non-organically. Oh. Cookies. Whoa. Hello, people watching. Let me scroll through those things you asked me. Hi Niels, hi Niels, hi Niels. Hello, hello, hello. Shame there's no proper Nordschleife for AMS. Yeah, somebody go please laser scan that, and you know where to contact me. Just send it to me. I'll drive this car for a few laps and we'll see if it does a 611. Because I obviously have the talent of the young German who is sadly no longer with us, Stefan Belloff. Haha, just this is my way of taking a little break before we go to the next track. You're a great engineer. Well, you have countless of great mods, such great wheels. Why not share them? So yeah, that is a thing. I'm not entirely sure how much I can do because Reiza Studios, we got the license for R-Factor 1, but we are not allowed to openly support modding. because if you want to go make mods, rFactor or rFactor 2 are your sims. So if I was starting to release stuff for Automobilista, I would kind of be against what is allowed for us to do with Automobilista. I could do it for rFactor or rFactor 2, but I don't understand rFactor 2 tire model mainly, and rFactor 1 is not as feature rich in the physics as Automobilista is, so I don't really have a platform where I can release mods if I want to. And Dave says, how does it compare to iRacing Nissan GTP? Well, it is quite different. I think the iRacing GTP Nissan is a few years later, 86. And those things had more power, I think, more turbo pressure and a lot more downforce as well. This is sort of an early, what I'm trying to make roughly like in one day here is an early 956, not as like the later developed 962s, which were a bit more extreme in downforce. So this would probably be quite a bit slower. Although without the drag it would go quicker on tracks like Le Mans, but as far as downforce and grip and power goes, not quite the same as the iRacing GTP car should have. Yeah, so in the stream you see the middle monitor plus a little bit of there's a line on the screen on the right. That's actually somehow where, I don't know why it draws a line there, I don't see it, but you see a little bit of my side monitors. The view is a bit distorted in the side screen, so you get a little bit extra wide vision, because with the field of view of a triple screen you would sort of be looking through horse eye caps or whatever. Wouldn't get a sense of speed, so I've made it a little bit narrower, a little bit wider, so you see a bit more field of view. But it's not ideal, because if you look closely it distorts in the sides. Somebody says, I miss sim racing. Well, what's stopping you? Get like a Thrustmaster or a Logitech wheel and get back into it. These days you can get one of those ultra wide screens. Even if it's 60 hertz, it's fine. You get a nice bit of real estate for not too much money. Sims aren't super hard on the hardware unless you want to crank everything up. But single screen sim racing is not necessarily super expensive. So if you can find any reason to sell organs or family members, it's worth it. Pum, 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 pum. Right, so that's it. Sadly, no more questions. This is my well, you can ask them, but there are no more. So that's my recuperation time done. Let's go to Kyalami. But since we beat the real lap time, one more cookie. Oh, Mr. E. I missed that. Oh, 8-shifter. No, not this year. Later, sadly. I wish I had one here, but... Oh. Should come with a warning label. Too damn tasty. So, no shifter this year, sadly. Well, I posted an update on iRacing, which not everybody has access to. So, yeah. Brief update on the 8-shifter. I like a bit more recuperation time before we do Kyalami. It basically felt pretty good, and then at the expo last year it felt good, but people misshifted into the far right gate, so the 7 and reverse gate. It was too easy to access. I made an update to the design that fixed it almost completely. However, that update also introduced, well, it wasn't ideal within the packaging, and in the long run you would see a couple of parts start to wear off, and scaling it up was a problem, and the sequential mode felt like not good enough. So yeah, back to the drawing board. Have some new ideas. This is design 6 or 7 by now, I'm not entirely sure. It's just my inability to do something like it has to be really, really good, because there are some good shifters out there. Why would I make something that's only as good as most of them? I'd like to be a little better than most of them. But hey. So that's gonna be, it's not gonna be the first thing that we do as Heusingveld hardware. Right, off to Kyalami. I this setup because I think Kyalami will be somewhat similar. It's also got a long straight. So this car setup probably does the job. Reverb. Save. Setup files. Let's go to... it's not called Kyalami, of course. Itchy ears, probably some sweat. Johannesburg. Historic. Save. I'm just gonna... Kyalami! Test day, Johannesburg. So I think this layout is identical to what they drove in the 80s. We'll see. And 115 is, oh no, 110. So in 1984 they did 115, and 1983 they did 1 minute 10. So the conditions were probably better, with a less developed car doing 1 minute 10. Favorite load. There we are. Probably fine. Scrub, yeah. We got a differential that's just locked. I think no, well, not today, but one of these, I think September. This September-ish marks the 20th anniversary of Grand Prix Legends. The first, like, sim, super sim. Oh, this place is bumpy and high speed. And Kyalami was one of the tracks included with Grand Prix Legends. Bump. These historic tracks have a feel of them that you just don't get in the modern versions. 1 minute 10 to beat. I have no idea. Let's take it easy at first. Should be flat out, I think. This as well. Yeah. Fourth gear. Very long right-hander with bumps. Changes of surface. Not sure if I do third gear here. If I'm... Yeah, I think we got enough torque. Just leave it in third. Kyalami's always been the gearbox headache. But we seem to be on boost in third gear with the current ratio. Whoa, okay, easy. It is physical, but it is easy. I forgot about something though. So we'll be a couple seconds too quick. At least some of that I can explain. I would expect to be too quick simply because we were too quick at Imola, which is a similar-ish but even lower speed, I think average speed than this track. The most important thing, that means I've deserved another cookie already on my second lap. Oh! It is a bit of a handful. Slowly off the brakes, let it roll a bit. Too late. Off the boost, and there is the boost again. Duck down for extra drag reduction. One hand. Too quick, but I'll explain that partly a little bit. I like those exits where you, even though I missed the apex, it just steered itself. Quite messy. Having already beat the target makes it a bit harder to concentrate. That's, yeah, I don't know why I did that. Oh, that would have been death probably. Let's go on the throttle where you really shouldn't. In a car made of a couple of tin cans with your legs dangling over the front axle. That's a bad decision. Very bad decision. Why am I too quick other than the driving skill? I mean, I gave Derek Bell driving lessons, obviously. No, it's not that. This track is at quite a high altitude in real life, and that's one of the things we sadly didn't get around to enabling in Automobilista. I made a model, yes I did, perhaps not the model you're thinking, a mathematical model, a simple-ish model that you enter your altitude and the temperature and the humidity, and you get an air density. There are online calculators for this, and the air density drops quite a bit if you go on, like if you go mountain climbing. High up in the mountains the air becomes thin. Mexico City racetrack has it. Interlagos has it as well. The higher you go, the less air there is, simply. And that means there's less downforce, there's less cooling for all your components. There is less air to go into the engine. Now this is a turbocharged car, so it might be able to suck in enough air, but with the technology of then, I'm not sure if the engine ran properly here. Plus you lose downforce. And that can easily be 1 or 2 seconds, I think, on a track like this. So I think that's the majority where we are, the reason we are so quick here. It would have been nice if we did it in Automobilista, but it's not a huge thing on most tracks. But it would also mean that if that model was running in real time and you would have a hill climb, your power would drop as you go higher and higher, because it will be calculated in real time what the air density would be. And if we had an advanced like weather system where there were clouds and the temperature would change, you would also change the air density. Or if it would start raining, the humidity would change, which all change the air density. But as cool as that it sounds, and as it's possibly even done by rFactor 2 or iRacing, those are fairly small-ish effects compared to having a track that's a kilometer above sea level. So I think that's the reason why we're too quick here, at least partly because of the air density, making this not quite fair. Although we were too quick at Imola as well, so this car on a whole is probably a little optimistic. Right, so that's another cookie. Just set the bar low enough or make the car unrealistically quick and you'll deserve cookies. That's the lesson to learn. I thought it would take longer, but hey. Well, people will always say, sucky noob, that AMS is just an rFactor 1 mod, but with Game Stocker it was fair, because at least almost the same regarding the source code, but AMS has expanded in quite a few areas. Graphic sound, a lot of the stuff in the sound is quite improved, and physics as well. Oh, it scrolls away. You can install your engine in AMS just fine. It's made a bit more difficult since we introduced the throttle torque mapping stuff that I've never explained properly because it confuses me. But you can still stall. Right, so what do we do? Do we make the car a bit less quick? I think that's possibly fair, although I was still a little behind the time at Brands Hatch. But is the track different? Brands Hatch different enough from the mid-80s version to warrant that I'm slower? Tricky. I'd like to go back to Imola with 1.2 bar and having a bit harder time to to do the lap time. So meanwhile, I could share that, I think. See, this is so there we are. Engines 1.2 bar, 587 horsepower. I think I'll remove a little bit of power, a bit more drivetrain losses. So now we have 574 at the wheels at 1.2 bar turbo pressure, which I think is probably fine. I mean, 620 horsepower they said, but that's the engine. It's easy for some horsepowers to get lost through the drivetrain and stuff like that. Tire grip wise, are we too good? I'm more confident changing some of the aero. I could just run a lower wing setting, but I predominantly want to run a bit less. Oh, are we? Oh, yeah. No worries. Riga Sim, finished product. I hope it comes across like that. As a developer, you never consider something finished. Relatively-ish finished. With only a million things we'd like to do. So, downforce. Currently at maximum wing. Let's trying to type this here. Yeah, 300 kilometers an hour. Absolute. So we have this is the ride height range we might be at. This is very confusing. I know some of you might have seen this, some of you may have some idea what we're showing. This is the downforce in newtons produced at 300 kilometers an hour, with this being the front ride height and this being the rear ride height. So when driving we might be like somewhere here. I'd like to take some downforce away while keeping this balance. Easiest is just to do a bit less of the diffuser. Now my balance has moved forward a little bit. Do I mind that? Let's just say we do. This is the wing setting for Le Mans. So we got 43% front aero. I'd like to have that a bit less, so we'll start out. Yeah, that's better. So now at low wing settings, we have about 1000 kilos of downforce at 300 kilometers an hour with a 41% bias. And at maximum wing settings, about 1500 kilos of downforce, 42%, so I want to make that a bit less. Front wing adds a little less, rear wing adds a little more. That's a bit too much. So that's that done. So we've removed a bit of downforce, removed a little bit of power. Do I also remove a bit of grip? I'm not so sure. Yeah. Would it make it too much of a handful? A little hard to say. But yeah, let's remove 2% lateral grip on the front. Longitudinal, I'm not sure. It would make it harder to get the power down. I don't like the thought of that. Let's 1% on the rear. Longitudinal, I mean, pretend we know what we're doing. No. Oh, cancel. Save. Back to the simulator. which we have to restart, because when you change tire physics, you have to restart the sim because it doesn't load the tire physics file. Let's hope that all works. Should the downforce bias be way rearward, like 20 front, 80 rear? Possibly. If you have the wind tunnel data for it, please let me know. Restarting Automobilista. So we have less downforce, less grip, less power. We'll go back to Imola, see what that does. If I still deserve a cookie after that. Actually, 900 kilos might be optimistic as well. That's the big thing, of course. Add weight and you'll add slowness. Oh no, I think I got the gears messed up, saved as the wrong file or something. Ah. Pourquoi? I just load the one from Kyalami then. See if that works. Less downforce means a little bit less force feedback, which is welcome. 2% less cornering grip is not a lot, 1% less acceleration and braking grip. It's not a lot, but it all combines to being a bit slower. Not sure what my turbo pressure setting is. We have to make sure we're not cheating with turbo pressure. Sorry about that. 1.2. That's fair. Okay. The boost gauge isn't configured. I'm not even. Can we do that? I'm not into the graphical. We probably have a boost gauge. But it's not actually reporting boost at the moment. Okay, have I made it harder to do a 138? We'll see. It's a little bit less grip. Or a bit more than a bit. Yeah, I think the same driving style now results in a bit too much wildness, so I have to be a bit more well behaved. Not one of my strong points, as you all know. I should also avoid these curves, because I don't think they would have used them in real life. It would have been such a blow to the front suspension. It's not super noticeable on the power because we took some grip away, but also some power, so the amount of corner exit oversteer has increased a bit, but it's not super dramatic. And it still steers itself every now and then. A bit late. Random clutching. Oh. So yeah, I don't want to be doing that. Or that. Well, this certainly has an impact. It wasn't the best lap, but 2 seconds to find. Considerable. Almost too late, but... I'm just a sucker for oversteer. Another one of those no steering exits. Ow. Not going to be easy to do a 38. Still certainly possible, but not as easy. It's a little slower everywhere. Ah, I like that corner so much. slow it down, slow it down. Yep. I have to work hard for my cookie down. Half a second to go. Ooh, late on the brakes there. We don't quite have the downforce or the grip for that corner. A bit over optimistic. That's rough on the curbs. You could find a lot of time by doing that, but I don't think it's realistic. So this one doesn't count in my opinion. But in many ways this 956 is just the quickest tin can chassis in the world. I don't think it would cope with the curbs that well. Nice, better apex there. Oh, quite late on the brakes. I like that every time. The corner just has a natural tendency. Banking and elevation makes it handle a certain way. Not terrible. So we are within ballpark, possibly. You get oversteer, but it doesn't get worse. You can just be confident and ride it out. Too late. And you would be quicker as well if you would start to left foot brake and use flappy pedals to shift. If you're going to drive a car like this, I think it's a shame not to use heel and toe and right foot braking. Sure, you'll be quicker without it, but it's not how these cars were driven. Inside, yes. That was optimistic. Inside curb followed by just keep your foot on the floor. There's a hilarious comment if you go to race department and download this car, which does not have these physics, but I did get contacted by the guy, so he's got some stuff. So hopefully, if there's anything good in here, what you see now, he's able to put it in the real mod. That's about as far as I can go with my support of modding. But one of the comments at race department, so people say, oh yeah, great car, well done, thank you. And then there's this one guy, what? I cannot shift. The engine dies or something if I upshift. And then somebody says, well, you know, it's historic simulation, so you have to lift off the throttle between shifts. And then his reply is, what? Are you crazy? I'll uninstall this car. Sometimes it cracks me up, but sim racers don't understand how it was in the old days, or they don't want the realism. Most of us do, I think so. Okie dokie. 38s with reduced aero, reduced tire grip, reduced power. Like I say, does that mean we are ballpark now with the simulation level? We don't know really, because other than Porsche, nobody knows exactly how much power it would have made, how heavy it was, what sort of tire grip they might have had, how much downforce it might have had. So perhaps we're doing reasonable lap times for all sorts of wrong reasons. I mentioned that at the beginning of the stream, but it's worth repeating that lap times are important if you want to like test if your sim car is realistic. But you can have too much power and too low grip. You might do the same like a realistic lap time in an incorrect way. So it isn't as meaningful as comparing full telemetry, which I doubt they ran in 1983. So they didn't have Motec and Core i5 systems back then. I think I'll just go back to Brands Hatch for a little bit. Ah, that sound, nice. Because we were too slow at Brands Hatch, and now with these modifications I'll be even slower, but let's see what happens at that track now. Quick peek to look at you guys who've all fallen asleep. Audio play in. Just looking for chat, see if... Yeah, so it's we don't know if what the aero balance is. If I was to run this car with a 20% front, 80% rear aero bias, it would be incredibly understeery at high speed, almost undrivable. Would be constant full lock, and books and stuff like that. It's even hard to trust some what's in there sometimes. like the books from Paul Frere, I think they're brilliant, but sometimes even when books are written with the best intentions, you get corners are cut, or they say the certain amount of downforce, but you can easily get the speed wrong. So perhaps they meant to say 150 miles an hour, and they print it as 180 miles an hour. I've seen so many typos and errors. And Mulsanne Corner is a brilliant website, and it does have quite a bit of figures for downforce for certain cars, but not of the earlier Group C cars, and I'm also not sure where they got the numbers from. And with that site as well, he has to sort of scale it up to 180 or 200 miles an hour. There might be a calculation error somewhere. Perhaps the wind tunnel data was optimistic. It's very, very hard to estimate how accurate the data is. So the IMSA Porsche 962, there's data of that on the Mulsanne Corner, but I think the IMSA spec was higher downforce. 962 quite further developed in 1993, so it's not comparable to the 956 anymore, but it developed monstrous downforce. We only have like half of that or something. Right, just a few more laps of Brands Hatch before I call this an evening. And I also think Brands Hatch isn't quite the same as an 83, but it's a fun track anyway. So let's see if with less grip and downforce it's manageable. 1.2 bars, make it even harder. The jump wheel. Bit of understeer here. The tighter the corner, the more problems you have with a locked differential. Yeah, much improved. Oh, it's different. Okay, help. Oh no. More grip, please. So yeah, watch Senna's qualifying lap 85 or 86. Almost 10 seconds quicker than we'll be here. But with a lot more power and a tiny bit more skill, probably. And to give you some idea of the Group C development, so we're chasing a 117 that we won't do, early Group C, but later times are I think a 112. So in 6 or so years they gained 5 seconds on a short little track like Brands Hatch. So we are really at the start of Group C with this spec. think I have to concentrate a bit more to make this work. Be a bit harder on the brakes at high speed. I get understeer sometimes, but plenty of oversteer as well. Minus 404, split time not found. Can I be braver here? Not much. So lots to be gained just from driving clean lines. Random blip out of nowhere. Plenty lively. Missing my apex again there. Almost blind this. Smoother, that's better. That I'm not so sure about. Out of boost. running super wide. I think third gear is a bit on the tall side. Fourth and fifth are fine. But can I shorten third gear? Here it's nice. Might just keep it in fourth here. A bit shorter third gear would help me here as well. But nothing will help as much as driving better, so I'll concentrate on that first. Shift, that's I think the first one in this stream and the stream before this. This is a little workout track. Holy crap. Bit of a handful, 2 hands full. early on the brakes. I don't do that often. Hard one to get the power down there. See, early on the brakes is quicker. 1/1000th. If you're getting bored, there is a video of Tiffany Dell driving a 962, quite a later development, so it would have had more downforce than this one. And Tiff has that, well, I wouldn't want to insult the guy by saying he has the same driving style as me. It's a bit more the opposite. I sometimes think I drive a bit like Tiff. And that perhaps a few too many steering inputs and a bit too throwing it around. Tends to be my problem. But that video with Tiffany Dell at Silverstone is a good one to, like, these mid-corner corrections that I'm doing might not be necessary if you have even more skill, even more than me. No, I mean if you're smoother and better. But even Derek Bell in the onboard videos, he has that ragged steering every now and then. So I won't claim my driving skill is up there with those guys. But I do have a feeling that the lock differential and the general physics of this car kinda recreate that feeling of having to make corrections and yeah. Ooh, sliding. For this pretend racing game, it feels quite neat that it's hands-on, and there is at least some video evidence that these cars might have been, who knows, a little bit like that. But I don't want to get ahead of myself claiming that it is all that great or anything. See if I can do an 18 and then I'll call it a day. Big handful. messy, but we might still make it. No. Ow. Zip. Pain. You want to let go of that steering wheel if you got a direct drive wheel. Especially when I'm planning to upgrade to more torque. Can this face get even more sweaty? We'll try. On my way there to an 18. Kinda want to do that now, even though it's dinner time. It's more shower time than dinner time, but... Too late, crap. Such a difficult corner. Seems like to go uphill in steps, and every moment there you can get understeer or oversteer. Just ran too wide. Oh, wide again. Closer. Closer, closer. hard, hard, hard. Oh, I looked at the... It's the biggest health hazard. Hatch. Look at your time just when you cross the line and... You're guaranteed to die. Turn 1. Oh, I can't even pour a drink into my face. Mount this. The steering torque. Alright, man on news. Sorry. It would definitely be quicker if it wasn't set up to be as oversteery, but it's also possible by driving style. So I've just kept the setup as it is. Ooh. On the grass. A little bit. Not good. Uh-oh. Might be running out of steam. No, 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 no. Nope, 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 nope. That way, please. This is at stake, people. Cookie. Only if I do an 18. 39 1,000s left. Just do a bit of doping here. Ooh. Let's see. Don't want to get caught with that at the Olympics. Oh, no! Roof slide physics. Essential to test. Was on my way there. Arms. Oh boy. Cookie yearnings must continue. Come on, Eels. Cookie. Give me some skills. absolutely nowhere. Nice neutral. Too little, too late. Big stutter, big stutter. Derek Bell never had stutters, that's my excuse. More calmly there, that's good. On the throttle earlier. Bad line. I'm making it so hard for myself. No. Terrible exit. That's reasonable. enough. Cookie. Yes. Oh, I might have to eat the cookie without my legs. Yeah. Cookie. Wee. Nice. Not a good lap though, I realized. Way too jagged and missing apexes and missing more than hitting. A couple reasonable moments. Yep, you know, that apex where we're not hitting. Ooh. Ooh, locking up a bit. Terrible corner this. No way to get the power down without oversteer the way I'm driving it. Sometimes it feels slow, but it might not be terrible. Fairly brave on the brakes, nice and neutral here. Running out quite wide. Lots and lots of time left on the table. Might even do a 17 on a different day, with a different skill set. Ah, that's the helicopter that'll drive me to hospital. Well, the crash wasn't that bad. Well, I think I've lost all the moisture that was in me, so it's about time to call it quits. 1:18.9, slower than what I did in the early 80s, but I think we have it on good authority that it's not my driving skill, it's all other factors. Cookie dough. Cookie dough. That's actually, first you have the dough, then you bake it, then you have the cookie. So, my prize. Nom, nom, nom. So. Yeah, I do remember a video from the Spa 1000K. I think I saw all the videos that are still on YouTube that Duke video hasn't taken down, along with the people who hosted it. It's mainly I think it's mainly my Tiffany Dell sort of technique of being ragged and throwing it a bit too much. If I'd made the setup a bit more understeery and calmed down a little bit, would have been a little quicker and a lot less risky and sort of throwing it about. So, well, that was fun. And I spent more time on this than I was planning to, but in summary, do we need to summarize? Perhaps. So I made a Porsche 956 with no real data, just sort of like that. And we drove it on a couple of tracks just to see how it would stack up to the real lap times. Seemed to have been a bit too quick, but then we lost some grip, some aero, some everything, some power, and then it might have been alright. But I said it a million times, correct lap times don't necessarily mean anything. You can achieve the correct lap time in a lot of bad ways. If you have not enough power, but enough, like more than enough downforce, you can still have the same lap time. So we don't really know if it's realistic or not. We're just sort of pretending here. That's the whole point of sim racing. It's all pretend racing. Right, thank you guys for watching. If you did, I'm gonna cool down a bit, have a shower, see if there's something to eat in this house, and chill out a bit. Bye bye guys, cheers.